going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another football video with the Premier League returning right up on the horizon. We are back for matchday number 1 Premier League predictions. So if you are enjoying the content, please do subscribe. Social media links, they're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description, so if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. 200 likes is the aim, and do let me know your predictions as well in the comments below ahead of match day number 1 in the Premier League, which returns of course this weekend. Finally, do go and check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore, and ahead of the new Premier League season, they're going to be keeping you guys up to date with all the latest scores along with the statistics, analysis and match information. It's a free app to download, a very highly rated app, so do go and check it out. And anyone that does download SofaScore using my link in the description or the QR code on screen does help to support the future content created here on my channel. So without further ado, let's crack on with the match day number 1 in the Premier League predictions, and the Premier League season getting underway on Friday 16th of August at Old Trafford. It's Manchester United taking on Fulham. Erik ten Hag's managed to keep his job at Manchester United. They did just lose the Community Shield last weekend to Manchester City on penalties, so we'll see how they do respond. Fulham, of course, made some really good signings over the summer, looking very good. I'm tipping them to potentially even break in and stay and get to the top half of the Premier League. They're a very good team. Won't be an easy game for Manchester United. I would be surprised if Man United didn't win the game though, and I'm going for a solid win there for Manchester United and going 2-0 in that match. Now moving on to the 17th of August on Saturday. In the early kickoff, you've got newly promoted Ipswich Town. They're playing at home against Liverpool, one of the biggest games of the season for them. It just so happens to be on the opening day as well, with a 12:30 p.m. BST kickoff time, with the game being broadcast live on TNT Sports. I'm going with an Ipswich Town loss, unfortunately. I can't see anything other than Liverpool winning that game, so I'm going with a 3-1 victory for Liverpool. It'll be interesting to see how they cope in the post regime going past Jurgen Klopp. Of course, we'll see how they do get on. I think Ipswich Town will make a difficult game for Liverpool, but I can't see anything other than a Liverpool win, going with a 3-1 victory there for Liverpool. I am going for both teams to score. We'll see how Ipswich do adapt. I think if there is to be a surprise for one of the big boys this weekend, I can see it potentially coming in that game, so we will see. It will be a hostile, sellout crowd. Huge game for the return in the Premier League for Ipswich Town. We'll see what does happen. Now moving on to the 3 p.m. blackout games, you've got Arsenal taking on Wolves. I don't see anything other than an Arsenal victory, to be honest. I'm going for a comfortable and comprehensive 3-0 victory and a clean sheet for Arsenal, as well as they're looking to try and start as they mean to go on and launch in another bid to try and win the Premier League. You got Everton taking on Brighton. I'm going for a score draw from that one, going with a 1-1 draw at Goodison Park as Everton entertain their farewell season to Goodison Park as well, but going with a 1-1 draw there in Merseyside. And you've also got Newcastle United taking on newly promoted Southampton, and I'm going with a comfortable 2-0 win for the Geordies there up in Newcastle. Southampton just couldn't have wished for a further out away game for them to start the season, with the furthest out away game is it in the Premier League this season? If it's not them, then it may well be Brighton, but yeah, going with a 2-0 Newcastle win. Nottingham Forest taking on AFC Bournemouth. I'm going for a Nottingham Forest win in that game, going with a Forest win by 2-1. Could be quite a big game come the bottom of the table come the end of the season, if history is to repeat itself for what happened from last season. So still, I'm sticking with a Nottingham Forest win there, going with a 2-1 win for them. At 5:30 p.m. BST live on Sky Sports, you've got West Ham United taking on Aston Villa. A match at the London Stadium. I'm going with a West Ham win there. Narrow win as well, going with a 2-1 win for West Ham. Could be quite a close game, but I think West Ham will make home advantage count. Now moving on to the Sunday games, you've got Brentford Brentford taking on Crystal Palace. London derby there down in the Big Smoke. And I'm going with a boring game, going with a 1-0 Brentford win, with Brentford finding a goal. I'm going with later in the second half as well. Of all the games that's been selected for TV, I'm not too sure why that's been selected in the UK when you've got some pretty good games in the blackout there. You know, Newcastle against Southampton, newly promoted Southampton, Arsenal against Wolves, Forest, Bournemouth is a big game that could be a big game down at the bottom, whereas Brentford, Crystal Palace, I suspect you're looking at two mid-table teams. Yeah, anyway, going with a 1-0 win. And then you've got game of the weekend taking place in the primetime Sunday slot at 4:30 p.m. BST. Again, game being broadcast live on Sky Sports. You've got Chelsea taking on Manchester City. And I'm going with Manchester City also to continue with starting as they mean to go on and bidding to try and win the Premier League. And I'm going with a 2-1 win away from home for Manchester City at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea and Manchester City and a lot of the other Premier League teams this weekend are going to be without a lot of players because these players have been at international competition. Some of the players have only just returned a week or two ago, so I suspect that a lot of the big names that have been at these international tournaments will at least be on the bench. Quite a few of them will be starting. It all depends on when they've returned back to pre-season action, but for Manchester City they could be missing 5 or 6 key players. So will Chelsea run the risk and go with the likes of Cole Palmer that have only just returned back from training? We'll wait and see. Could be a bit disjointed. I suspect a lot of the Premier League games this weekend will look a little bit disjointed, but I think Man City have got enough quality to see off Chelsea here, and I'm going with a 2-1 victory for Manchester City against one of his apprentices, Enzo Maresca, former Manchester City assistant manager. First Premier League game in charge of Chelsea since leaving the Leicester City job, and I'm going for Manchester City to win that game by 2-1. Now finally, on Monday evening, you've got Leicester City taking on Tottenham Hotspur, newly promoted Leicester City, of course, taking on Tottenham Hotspur. Game being broadcast live on Sky Sports, and I'm going with a 2-1 victory, narrow 2-1 victory for Tottenham Hotspur in the Leicester City return match in the Premier League for them. I think Spurs will be too strong, and I'm going with a 2-1 victory for them. So yeah, lots of games being broadcast live. That United game starting off the Premier League on the 16th of August on Friday evening, also being broadcast live on Sky Sports. I don't think I mentioned that. So there we go. They're my predictions. Do get your predictions, guys, in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. 200 likes is the aim. Do subscribe if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. Social media links, they're in the description too if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Email also in the description as well if you want to go and hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. And finally, do go and check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore. See you all again for Premier League match day number 2 next week. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.